The future can be forever altered in a mere wink of fate. Lightning strikes a clock tower, etching a date and time on a town's memory. An atomic DeLorean transports a teenager back in time, reshaping his family's destiny. A caring citizen seeks help for elderly pedestrians, planting the seeds of the Southtown Council. In 1982, 63rd Street from Paseo to Prospect was a problem. Larry Galat remembers.
Somebody from a dentist's office on about Brooklyn and 63rd Street called to complain about weeds that were not being taken care of in that part of 63rd Street and in what is oftentimes known around here as Boone's Cemetery up on the hill near Brooklyn and 63rd Street. Well, I was in community development. We got in touch with a person at City Hall named Jim Phelan, who was in community development, and also quickly got in touch with Jim Rice. Jim Rice was in public relations with Research Hospital. And the three of us tried to figure out how we could get that done.
It would take 9 years to complete the 63rd Street project, but it took only a few days for Larry Galat to see the potential for businesses, institutions, and neighborhoods working together to build a better community.
Why not form an association of businesses with community groups in this area? And then that got tested looking around, well, where are the major businesses?
The stakeholders decided to form the Southtown Council, a name borrowed from the long-gone Southtown Theater at 57th and Troost. Through the generosity of Father Norman Rodert's Blue Hills Homes Corporation, an office was provided and Galat was engaged as part-time director at bargain rates.
We had no staff at that particular time. I served part-time as like a project manager on behalf of Blue Hills Homes Corporation.
Galat and a cadre of businesses and institutions laid down a solid foundation for the fledgling organization. The Southtown Council would build on the area's assets: parks, boulevards, 2 major universities, 3 large hospitals, strong neighborhoods, a mix of large and small businesses, a target area that spanned Voker to Gregory Boulevards, Prospect to the Main Street Brookside corridor, communication fueled by monthly newsletters, luncheons, and other events that would bring people together, a nonprofit organization with bylaws, an active board, and hard-working committees. The council would operate without direct government funding.
It was more than a bunch of volunteers could do, and we needed to look for an executive director.
Larry's final act for the Southtown Council was to recruit the new executive. Enter Marty Leigh.
That obviously was a really good choice.
Larry Galat's genius created a vision for Southtown and built a governance structure to match that vision. Marty Leigh's genius was getting big things done with a tiny budget.
Volunteering is part of Marty's DNA, family trait. So what she did to close the budget gap was to mine the resources and talent so abundantly available in the Southtown area already. If she needed meeting space or printing or board or committee members or ideas, she went to those resources and turned on her infectious smile and her boundless energy, and the businesses and the universities and the hospitals and the neighborhoods responded.
Over the next 10 years, the Southtown Council became a new model for business and community partnership. an impressive list. But it wasn't just what Marty did, it was how she did it. Take the Troost Avenue initiative. The project would start at 55th Street and work its way to 75th Street. The city's little-known facade rebate program would match property owners' storefront investments, utilizing modern materials that respected the building's architectural history. Next were sidewalks and curbs to complement the new storefronts. Block by block, year after year, Marty got sidewalk dollars from the city's sales tax for capital improvements. She pulled the Public Works Department into the act to get Troost on the city's street resurfacing schedule. For finishing touches, the city replaced rusty street signs and refreshed street markings. Block by block, Troost Avenue regained its bygone luster. In 10 years, the Southtown Council completed more than 100 facade rebates and 2 miles of curbs and sidewalks, most of them concentrated on Troost Avenue. It made a big difference.
Marty Leigh and Southtown Council exemplify the type of leadership it takes to produce the long-term results for community and economic development along Troost Avenue and in Southtown. So it's a very natural fit that Rockhurst University would be a partner with Southtown Council.
By 1997, there was no stopping Southtown's momentum, and the next decade zoomed into the future.
The Tulips on Troost project, and a lot of our students and our alumni have been able to get involved in that, and in that spirit of community, be able to go out and partner with businesses and partner with residents and work to beautify Troost and change the conversation that people have about Troost Avenue.
Long before the Southtown Council appeared on the scene, Waldo and Brookside were widely known as two of Kansas City's most colorful and interesting neighborhood commercial districts. But both had aging infrastructure, limited parking, and competition from suburban malls. Community improvement districts, also known as CIDs, proved to be just the right medicine.
One of the real strengths now of our Brookside CID, and I think the CIDs for all the neighborhoods and the associations here in the Southtown area, is that we can have some structures around us that not only provide all the wonderful services in terms of keeping our neighborhoods clean and security and all the things that go with that, but also then to be a watchdog as we kind of look at the areas developing around us, as we look at what's happening with the city, and so that we have the structure around us to not only kind of protect us as a small business kind of area, but also to help keep us vibrant in terms of what the Brookside area and the neighborhoods need to sustain and be really successful.
When Marty presented the idea of the Waldo CID and the idea that we could generate funds to help with trash cleanup, graffiti removal, and general upkeep and so forth of the corridor, it was, it was like a no-brainer. We had to do it because since we have implemented it, the look and feel of the Waldo corridor is just far different. It is so clean, it is more friendly and inviting, there's more green space, there's just a better feel all around. And a lot of storefronts have been improved through our grant program, which was a wonderful addition to the CID program. And then also, problem areas have been addressed. We have the Waldo Roadrunners that are kind of the eyes and ears for our community that, can report problems or can help people and that kind of thing. So it just has a much more welcoming feel for not only the business owners, but their customers and the people who live in and around the area.
The Southtown Council was also one of the first organizations to embrace arts and culture as part of the community building process. The annual Brookside Art Fair became one of the city's premier events for professional and aspiring artists. Brookside's St. Patrick's Day Parade honored the city's rich Irish heritage. The Waldo Fall Festival showcased the unique culture and lore of the historic Waldo neighborhood. The Southtown Council brought citywide recognition to the area's nonstop efforts to improve and beautify its business and public spaces. Monthly Southtown Sparkles Awards and annual Beautification Awards celebrated these efforts. As the Southtown Council moved into its third decade, the area's pulse became more and more vibrant.
Perfect. Couldn't say it any better. Waldo's a great place.
For 33 years, the Southtown Council has always been about the future, creating a new and better future for the area where Kansas City grew up. And despite the successes of these 33 years, there will still be new worlds to conquer, unfinished business to wrap up.
I believe, having been in Kansas City with AT&T for 27 years, the Troost dividing line has been a topic of conversation in many economic development discussions that I've been involved in. And what is very promising is, as I've gotten to know Southtown and the great work of Marty under her leadership, I've seen businesses come together. I've seen economic development really happen. With the Tulips on Troost project, which has been such a boon for the area in bringing businesses together for a common cause, I've personally seen how neighborhood associations and businesses and organizations like Southtown work together to improve the overall quality of life, not just for the people who live in the area, but for the people who do business.
This has been a journey back to the future, a time to revisit that moment when a citizen called Larry Galat about a street that was hazardous for elderly pedestrians, a time to imagine how different the future might have been without that caring citizen, without the vision of Larry Galat, without the management genius of Marty Leigh, without the Southtown Council.
The organization now has an impact from 47th to 85th, from state line clear over to past Prospect, really enveloping this major, what almost is Midtown anymore, rather than Southtown.
And I think that's been the key to then developing the CIDs that we developed first for Brookside and then later for Waldo and for Southtown and now for Troost, so that we can be and maintain being a really, really strong community in this Southtown area.
I'm so excited about the future of Southtown Council and being at the table to make changes happen for the good, for the positive.
I think there are lots of things to come for us in the future.
So Marty has been the glue and the center to hold together and build this vision to now, and makes us all very proud of where we are.
She's just an incredible presence in the community, and she's going to be sorely missed.
So today, let us simply celebrate that marvelous and fateful alignment of the stars 33 years ago.